Breathe out. Let's breathe in and out of the nose. 5 breaths in, 5 counts in, and 5 counts out. We take 2 sniffs in the nose and 1 sigh out the mouth. Take a deep breath in and just relax.
Yo, what's good with you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you feel, man?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
I'm
And
loving the hair looking like Frederick Douglass' long lost cousin. 20 years a
in the
slave
life,
or something like
yeah,
that.
no, in the lifetime, I think it was something like that. I think
In
that's
the
what it was.
lifetime of a slave. Okay.
Exactly, something like that. Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
talking about America, for instance, and
Right.
we try not to talk too much about politics here, but what happened to Trump getting shot, a president? I mean, he's still a president of the United States, even though he's
Yeah, definitely.
former. That's the first time that's happened since Ronald Reagan.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
do you think
definitely.
about the gravity of that?
Well, the things is, sorry, lost my cam for a second. Hold on a second. Let me get my cam back on. No, that's not the wrong one. Okay. All right, sorry about that. All right, perfect. Sorry about that. Well, yeah. Well, that's the question. What are the repercussions of something like that? What's the gravity of that? Thinking of it from a humanistic point of view, no one should ever want to see anyone else get their life taken. I mean, I've been in situations where it's been similar, and even though even if it meant the saving of one life or another, it's always been for that humanistic part of us always feels saying terribly about having to see the loss of life from anyone, and given the position, given the situation, given the circumstances, you know, I think that it's much more significant, from all sides. I mean, we've, saying this, what, been 3 days now, and there are like 35 different conspiracy theories, and we really don't know anything at all, really. We know some things, we know, patchwork, and I think that it further creates a divide. However, I do have a theory about that, but we'll probably get into that later on. However,
Well, listen to
about
this one guy who I was following on Instagram, and he made an interesting concept. He said, despite if there's some type of conspiracy theory or something like that, but
Mhm.
if there's no conspiracy theory here, or maybe it's just somewhat of a conspiracy theory, two
Yeah.
things happen. This is a president of the United States, and
Mhm.
he was shot almost like right there. Like the guy was not too far from the
Like
guy.
150 yards, yeah, like 150 yards or so.
So that's really
Yeah,
close.
yeah,
So either two things: either this was an inside job,
yeah,
or complete incompetence to protect the
yeah.
president of the United States. And either way, that doesn't look good for America.
Well, yeah,
What do
it
you
definitely
what,
doesn't look good for
what,
America at
what, do
all.
you, what do you think about that? That if it's either one or the other, it's either an inside job or 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 it's just complete incompetence, by Secret Service agents and the
I
FBI.
mean, but I mean, even, like I said, we know very little of everything that happened. We do know a lot of what happened. Trying to piece together what happened exactly. How it went. From all angles, from all perspectives. It's kind of difficult, especially at this time. What I'm saying, we're really quick to judge. We're really quick to jump the gun. What I'm saying, formulate our own ideals. What I'm saying, our head, and try to grapple onto. What I'm saying, whatever kind of like suits that. What I'm saying, that narrative that we're thinking of. What I'm saying. So
Mhm.
I mean, but again, yes, definitely, there was a breach in security protocols, things that went on that shouldn't have gone on, precautions that weren't taken that should have been taken, and things of the such. So, like you said before, on both sides of the coin, but I think that we're working with what, like a super tetrahedron, you know, four-dimensional type of device here, because it's not only two sides here. So I think that either way it goes, it does look bad. Um, whether it's the incompetence, from Trump's or private security detail, because his private security detail go hand in hand with the United States Secret Service. They do a lot of plotting and or strategizing as far as whenever he's going on a rally or whenever he's going on holiday or some or vacation or something like that. They work together. They work in unison. He's one of the few presidents who's ever had his own private, service or security detail after becoming president. Because he wanted that, and I can feel that. Saying I'm a billionaire before, dude. I have my own security detail dudes that I trust. Saying I'm gonna trust them even after. Saying I can feel that. And they work in concert with the Secret Service. But yeah, in any case, there was definitely a flaw in communication, a flaw in protocols. Indifferently to what we've heard. Some witnesses said they saw or whatnot. But from an outside point of view, because I guess you could say even though I am American, but I do not consider myself an outsider, but I'm able to see it from outside, because I've been away for so long, and it's a bad stain on the United States competence, like you said, if it's an inside job, it looks bad on the security detail. If it wasn't an inside job, it still looks bad on the security detail, which bodes a lot. It says a lot about saying how how far we go to protecting someone, especially who was a president. Because, like you said, even though he's not the current president, he still is and was one of our presidents. Obviously, we get into the tactical details or the technical details. They're only allotted so much money to fund their Secret Service, and same thing goes for Obama, for the Clinton family. Obama and Clinton families also, much less than what saying what what's allotted to the current president. But at the same time, I can pay some goons, saying 20 G's a month, and I'm sure they're gonna get my back for me. Saying I'm quite sure. Saying so. The hundreds of thousands that say that Americans can complain about being spent on national security, because this is a case of national security. Why would you have Secret Service for an ex-president? For national security. Saying he still knows a lot of things, the inner workings of a government that's still very prominent, very important, and very relevant and prevalent in today's society. So you want to protect that as an asset, not so much even from a strategical point of view, not even as a person, but as saying as a person who holds lots of secrets, ideals, and things like that. So I think that's the main reason why we want to protect those people. I think the sheer incompetence that's been displayed, saying in this event does say a lot. But the problem is that I think about, it's been done already, saying. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, but unfortunately, fortunately that, there was minimal damage, saying. And, prayers go out, and thoughts go out to the victim, the man who was protecting his family, who was shot and killed. And for the others who were injured, prayers go out to them, or thoughts go out to them. But fortunately, there wasn't this international incident where the president was assassinated. That's very, very fortunate, But in most cases, like we had with the cruise ship that, that sank, what was it, 10 years ago in Italy, or, an Exxon Valdez oil spill, things get much better after an incident like this. After 9/11, things get much better after, and having minimal casualties, I think, is probably the only silver lining here, saying, especially because of, saying what could have happened. And my biggest concern, my biggest problem is what happens next, saying what happens to the country. Does the country become even more or further divided, or does or does the population more or less take a step back and be like, wow, that was real, bro? Saying maybe we should see what's going on here. Saying there's one thing storming the Capitol. Saying you get a few beers and as Biggie would say, get the Remy in your system. You know what I'm saying? You act a little belligerent. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure they, to be honest with you, I'm quite sure that even the writers of the 6th of January never really had any idea or any plans to like really, really be violent. You know what I'm saying? But when you see something like this, for a figure like this who has protection and should have, coverage such as he does, it might be a moment. It could be a moment, you know what I'm saying, where that, that storm before the calm, you know what I'm saying, where like, wait a minute, bro. In the end, if you're this type of supporter, if you're a leftist or a rightist or a centrist, Democrat, Republican, hard conservative, hard progressive, maybe, you know what, is this really where we want to go to? Because we've had worse before, not much worse, but we had worse when we went to the Civil War. Shit was bad back then, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I wasn't there, but you know what I'm saying? But you can imagine, shit was bad. So my question is for you, how are you? Because, you were here in Europe for the last month or so, and you got back and basically you came back to this, you know what I'm saying? So you might be the shoe. I don't know, dude. What's your alibi? What's your alibi, dude? So I'm saying.
Don't say that.
Right, but I'm saying, living, but living situation though now, how are you living the situation? How are you hearing other people that you speak to face to face, not online, because online is a reality, but face to face is another reality. How are you with their feelings about the situation? Are most people not caring? Do they care? Does it seem like they're becoming more belligerent?
I mean, it's kind of weird. First of all, I live in California. So California is a little bit different than the rest of the United States of America. It's almost an entity all on its own. It's like the 5th or 6th biggest economy in the world. So
yeah.
And people tend to be much more on the liberal side, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
At first it was shocking to I think a lot of people, but then people just kind of forget about it. I guess I think we've seen so much over the last couple of years. We're just becoming desensitized to everything now, and that's kind of almost even scarier. It's like we can shoot presidents, we can do whatever, and it's just like people are mourning for it in like a day. Like even like the whole Gaza Strip thing, people were in outrage over that for like a week, and then after that, it's like whatever. Like there's still a war going on in Ukraine, and people don't even think twice about it.
2.5 years now, 2.5 years now,
yeah. So it's like I mean,
so
I don't know. I think I had that revelation, and I was telling you about it. Not always, I ain't gonna say quite of a revelation. I had a full out revelation, but I just think something crazy is about to happen in our world in the next 5 to 10 years. I think definitely within our lifetime. But
for this year,
that's crazy.
Hey, Cat Williams called it at the beginning of the year, son. Cat Williams called it.
Cat Williams said that Illuminati's getting acting up.
They got Diddy, then we got Drake, and Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. So definitely, I could. But okay. So obviously, as I don't want to say little people, but as people of very little influence, how do you think that we could live our lives, knowing that things are so volatile, ready to to jump off at any moment? You know what I'm saying? Because
you say we have.
It seems right now, that.
But I think more and more now our lives are much more significant than we even realize it now, especially with social media and stuff like that. I think that's where we need to start being more mindful of and respectful about other people's opinions and listen to other people's opinions in the way we present our opinions, and not being so so confrontational and so aggressive with it. It's nothing wrong with expressing your opinions and feelings, and then but not doing it in a way where we're attacking other people. That's inciting violence. We have to be responsible with our words now. And I think being responsible with our words is very important. I think it's very important that we all express the way we feel, even if we have different opinions, but we can do it in a polite way. We don't have to be attacking. Say somebody doesn't believe in abortion. I don't believe in abortion because of this, that, and that. Not because you guys are just degenerates that believe in killing babies and stuff like that. I think when we do that the latter way, that's incites more violence in our world.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think we need to learn how to have these tough conversations and
Well, we've
try to
never
make
had tough conversations.
and try to
We've
make
never
it
had
as
tough
simple as
conversations.
possible.
But
But
we
now we're having these tough conversations. We've been having it for the last couple of years now. So we're
Yeah.
coming out of that infancy state, and now we need to start becoming much more responsible the way we talk to each other. It's not like
But
we can't be acting like we're in the second grade still. Like, oh, you did this, you did that. No, blah 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 blah. You're
yeah,
this.
I
You're
know
that.
I am, but I know you are, but what am I? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
we
Yeah, I'm rubber, you are glue.
we need to evolve the way we have conversation and discourse with each other. You know?
Well, do you think that, well, because, obviously that's a good point that you bring up about, saying of growth, saying societal growth, we've got out of that infancy stage, but, now we're kind of at the point where we're almost at, late teens, pre-adult area. Is it possible that we missed out on is it possible that we missed out on the what is it called? The that teenage year, that pre-pubescent age, you know what I'm saying? Because now it seems like, yeah, we are speaking our minds, but it's almost we're already speaking our minds with the aggression already loaded, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So how does that work then? You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe we are missing some steps here, and so maybe that's what's taking us so long. We are missing some steps in societal growth.
Okay.
Like like you said, we didn't address these tough questions for a long time, and now we're starting to address them, and it's going at a hyper speed. And the internet social media creates things in a hyper. It makes things go hyper fast. So, but I think now people, especially people that are on the internet, who are bloggers, who are influencers, when just regular people, I think we just need to be much more responsible the way we communicate with people. We can still speak our mind. I think it's very important to speak our mind.
Okay.
That's what makes a great country, when you have a diverse thoughts, but putting other people down, demeaning other people. There's no benefit to that. That's only negative.
Definitely.
Yeah, so
but that's what we're doing now, though. You know what I'm saying? We're speaking our mind and doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. And I think that's what becomes dangerous, because it's kind of like, the way I like to look at it is like, when we think about children who are only children, and children with brothers and sisters. We grew up, me, you, and our younger sister. And whenever we had our, our debacles or our, misunderstandings or grievances, we took it out on each other. You know what I'm saying? We'd fight each other. You would probably beat my ass. Mom and dad would probably whoop us, put us in timeout. Well, we didn't have timeout back then. You know what I'm saying? But they would punish us in some way. But then, but after a day or two, we roll with the punch, and we learn from that. You know what I'm saying? From that misunderstanding, from that argument, from that fights or whatnot. And only children, however, sometimes they don't have that luxury. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if an only child has to express anger, rage, or sadness, which are emotions that are very, very difficult, one, to discern, and two, to react to. And so if they react badly to rage or with sadness or with anger, they may get suspended from school, and that can, condition their whole, academic career. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to worry about getting our whole academic career being at risk. We had to worry about our rear ends being, being at risk, from our mom and dad beating our ass, but, so, because it was kept in house, you know what I'm saying? So, and I think, I think that today's society doesn't have that luxury of, being able to work things out, with these small little scuffles, these jabs here and there, because we could have had these opportunities, but at some point in time, we kind of like skipped over it, you know what I'm saying? And we're at this point now where it's like, okay, you want to talk? Let's talk. But I'm already loaded, you know what I'm saying? At that point, you're coming to the arguments already, already, biased, you know what I'm saying?
I think you hit it right on the nail. It's kind of like you talk about the only child. It's kind of like everybody is kind of like the only child now, because they can hide behind the internet, they can hide behind their Instagram and stuff like that. It's not a real life community where you have to look at somebody straight in the eye and have a conversation with them like that.
Exactly. If it led to the fist, it led to the fists. You know,
exactly,
and you learn from that. You know what I'm saying?
Spewing all their biases and unease via Twitter or not X or in Instagram and TikTok. Yeah. So they don't have that luxury. I guess on TikTok and Instagram they kind of cut out the hate speech. So mostly Twitter or X is where a lot of the hate speech is going on these days. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't pay attention to that really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so a lot of people are big.
Yeah, I mean, I have. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, we talked about this a couple of times or a few podcasts ago. You know, I try to keep, you know what I'm saying, friends and acquaintances on all sides of the aisle. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to know what everybody's thinking. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the algorithm and see things that, you know, we want to see. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, we talk about 35 different conspiracy theories. It's because a lot of people already kind of said, okay, you know what? It might be this. Oh, you know what? That sounds a lot like what I was thinking. So I'm going to prescribe to what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's not, you know what I'm saying? You're pushing, you're conveying a false narrative, you know what I'm saying, which is can be based off of fact, but small facts of the big whole.
You're making an assumption and turning an assumption into
exactly.
Without having complete information.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's what happens a lot on the internet.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's, you know what I'm saying, I think that's one of the main things that we're going through now is the fact that we find ourselves battling a world of, and this is one of the things I talked about with one of my students just today. You know, we're battling with a world that, you know, where society, from a humanistic point of view, you know, we're still growing at the same gradual progression as we have had, you know, as we've done for, you know, millennia, but technology and what's at our disposal is growing exponentially, you know, so we're unable to handle these advancements in technology, you know what I'm saying? In the past, you know what I'm saying, if you didn't like, you know what I'm saying, so-and-so, if you didn't like Billy Bob, you had to see him at school tomorrow anyway. You know what I'm saying? Right now, if you don't like Billy Bob, you know what I'm saying, just block him. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's one of the things, you know, I think that becomes very, very burdensome on us as a society, you know?
Okay, what about this? We're talking about conspiracies. What if this was all staged to give Trump more publicity? What it was staged by Trump and his party? Because like it looked like he's going to win presidency now because he has all the momentum going for him now.
I mean, well, the way I look at it is like this, you know, I try not to get caught up in conspiracy theories, you know, and even being, you know, saying, having served and, you know, being a part where, you know, a lot of times some of the conspiracy theories that came out sound really, really close to reality, but I couldn't say anything, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but let's say this, but the first thing you have to think about with any conspiracy, what does the person have to gain? To be honest with you, that it'd be nice, you know, saying like, oh, especially because, you know, if you don't like Trump, it's easy to say, and it's nice to say that, okay, you know, he staged it, but it looks like he's poised to win it now, but he was poised to win it 1 month ago. You know what I'm saying? Why did he stage this 1 month ago then? You know what I'm saying? When he was, you know what I'm saying, neck and neck with Biden, or, you know what I'm saying, or like 1 or 2 points down in most of the polls. He smoked that dude in the debate, and he didn't say anything. Because Joe just fumbled everything. You know what I'm saying? So he won, you know what I'm saying? So momentum, inertia was behind him anyway. So I don't see, you know what I'm saying, as from a personal point of view, from a logical point of view, I don't see why would he, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know what I'm saying, it would put him into martyrdom if it had been successful. You know what I'm saying? But, and that's what happened, you know what I'm saying? One, for the person, because I hate the loss of any life, you know what I'm saying? And two, because of the repercussions of how it could have been taken, you know what I'm saying? So if we say that a lot, now that we say that a lot of people are taking things out of hand just with a small piece of fact, they are creating their own narratives and own truths, you know what I'm saying, with just a small piece of evidence. Imagine if, you know what I'm saying, if it had been more serious, you know, then, you know what I'm saying, people would have gone with that and brought it to the next level, you know what I'm saying, more than just thoughts and, you know, hate speech or, you know what I'm saying, battling on their keyboards. They've been battling, you know what I'm saying, with those ratchets, those tools, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, So I mean, and I just think that I don't, like you said, it's possible. Everything's possible. Everything's within the realm of possibility. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't see him having had to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because he was doing so well. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing so well recently. You know what I'm saying? And we all know that. You know what I'm saying? He's been quite poised. You know what I'm saying? And unless if some of the other conspiracies that are out there, that the Dems are just kind of they're just kind of like fluffing it out and waiting for Joe. You know what I'm saying? And then like mid August, early September, they're going like, okay, you know what, Joe, you can't do it anymore. We're going to put somebody in your place so that Trump and the Republicans don't have enough time to attack them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that could be a reason why, but I really don't see why, because what I'm saying, he has, what I'm saying, I mean, even before the debates, even we talk about statistics, he's been even when we think about the most important demographic, which has been the African American vote. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I would never tell you, I don't even promote people when it comes to voting. You know what I'm saying? But the African American vote voted for Hillary Clinton. There was, I think it's 75% or 80%, African American vote was for Hillary. It was about 5% less with Biden. And in the last polls, like in April, it was like 50% in Trump's favor. You know what I'm saying? That's like a 20-point turnaround. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Trump's getting the black votes, Latinos, and the Asians. He's
exactly.
Actually.
So yeah, I mean, but so like, saying, I never promote anyone. You know what I'm saying? I never downplay anyone. I might say someone's stupid for doing something like something or another, but in the end, I think that when we think about conspiracies, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to really go into it because I don't see him having so much to gain from it. You know what I'm saying? If it was towards the end, he saw his numbers starting to drop, I said, okay, yeah, that was an inside job. You know what I'm saying? Or I could probably think that. You know what I'm saying? I could probably think that. Like most people thought about with the January 6th thing. You know what I'm saying? You could probably kind of think that. You know what I'm saying? Like even if he didn't plot it, you know what I'm saying? It's like he kind of like pushed towards it. You know what I'm saying? He kind of like nudged it in that direction, but I don't see why he would, you know what I'm saying? And plus, I don't want to even contemplate it, because if I contemplate it and try to put it out in the world, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeding that same machine, you know what I'm saying? That,
sure.
that I'm fueling that same machine of where instead of trying to wait for all of the facts or trying to see how, how we move forward even, you know what I'm saying? Taking the minimal loss and try to, to ameliorate, to make our lives, our society, the world better. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to try to push towards, you know what I'm saying, something that's going to be more dynamically tense